Hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on. Sports Hounds are live right now.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck like Austin thinking he stinks!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
Here we go, everybody. It's Monday night. Sports Hounds are live exclusively on A2DRadio.com. He's Brad Ryer. I'm Rob Brinkman. Frank Vesby behind the scenes, keeping the train on the tracks, producing. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch and Twitter. If you miss anything on A2D Radio, download us wherever you get your podcast, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Takeover Talk. A lot of big announcements are coming. Don't miss anything. It's the year of A2D Radio. It's Takeover Talk. We're brought to you each and every Monday by Specialized Physical Therapy. Our doc, make them yours too, Dr. Paul Vidal. 2 convenient locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill. Like I said, he's A2D Radio's doc. He's the Sports Hounds doc. Make him yours too at Specialized Physical Therapy. Brad, it's Super Week. Super Bowl 6 days away. We got everything Super Bowl related. We're going to have a poll question regarding the Super Bowl. We're going to have predictions on the Super Bowl. We're going to have prop bets on the Super Bowl. We're going to have everything Super Bowl related. We're going to talk about officially Tom Brady retiring and his legacy and the domino effect that this could potentially have on the NFL draft and the NFL offseason. A lot of teams need quarterbacks, and now we can add Tampa Bay, I think, to that list. We'll get into my conspiracy theory regarding the Tom Brady retirement situation later on in the program as well. Love a good conspiracy theory. Bryce Blackwell, he's already in the house. What's up, Bryce? And we'll get into what else are we going to get into? We're going to get into Brian Flores. We have not officially discussed the Brian Flores situation, and I'm especially excited to talk to you, Brad, because your New York Giants are one of the teams named in the lawsuit. So I want to get the pulse of Giants Nation. I want to get the feelings that the Giants have, and we're going to get into, does the NFL need to make significant changes to their hiring process? Because I think when Culley got fired after 1 year in Houston, that wasn't fair, and that really opened my eyes that some changes need to be made. There are now no head coaching vacancies in the NFL. Dennis Allen just got hired a few minutes ago, really, by the Saints, and Mike McDaniel, whoever that is, gets hired by the Miami Dolphins. 2 white guys. So we're going to get into that too.
Lovie Smith got hired by the.
Thank you. Yes, so an African American did get hired. Good call, Brad.
We did get one, but I mean, just it's unfortunate.
It's not good.
It's a bad look. No matter what anybody tries to tell you.
I feel like minorities are getting looks like above the head coaching level, like at the executive level. What was his name? The guy from the Eagles that got hired? Bowen gets hired as the Giants'
assistant general manager.
He was our player personnel director in Philadelphia. He's an African-American, also from the Eagles organization, gets hired by the Minnesota Vikings. So the Rooney Rule is sort of working at that level, but it's just not working at the head coaching level. So we're going to talk about that too. But let's get to on the field business. On the field, the Super Bowl 6 days away, Sunday, 6:30. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo will have the call on CBS. Our poll question for tonight is sponsored by All Campus, home of A2D. Ramp Booth is giving 20% off everything in our store, including hats, shirts, and our team cornhole sets to all of our subscribers. If you want to be an A2D insider, $9.99 a month. You get some amazing perks, including shout-outs, members-only shows, appearances, and weekly picks from the Money Pop podcast. and Willie Vegas. Be interesting to see what both of them sharps have to say about the Super Bowl. But our poll question tonight is: I want to have a little fun. Aaron Donald will win Super Bowl MVP. Brad, I'm going to agree here. I'm going to get a little nuts. I'm going to get a little weird because I think this game is going under. I think that both these defenses are more than competent.
Oh, yeah. And I agree with you there.
I think the Bengals have serious issues on their offensive line that could emerge as a huge factor in this football game. I mean, the Tennessee Titans had 9 sacks against this team in the divisional round of the playoffs, and the Titans don't have anywhere near the pass rusher, the caliber of Aaron Donald, or even Von Miller for that matter. So I think Aaron Donald is a great under-the-radar Super Bowl bet because if this game plays out like I think it's going to play out, where points are at a premium, Rams pretty good defense, Bengals pretty good defense. I understand we got the quarterbacks, but I don't know why, but I'm feeling a defensive kind of 20-17 type of game, which leaves the door open for a defensive guy like Aaron Donald
to be a little higher scoring than that, but not much different. I think you're pretty. I'm looking more like Cincinnati's going to lose. Probably, I'm thinking more along the lines of 27-17, 27-20, something like that.
So, Brad, with the poll question, Aaron Donald win the MVP. I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I would. I do like him. I do like him to get that because you know what? That's something that's right there for him to get because Cincinnati's offensive line has been pretty abysmal, and he could really own this game. I mean, I don't know how they're going to stop him.
I mean, no one's had yet. So Aaron Donald is going off. It's 16-1 for him to win the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl MVP.
Right.
His odds are sandwiched between. So Cooper Kupp, the 2 quarterbacks are at the top. That's pretty.
Well, they always are the quarterbacks. I mean, that's the one thing. The quarterbacks always are going to be the favorites.
I mean, Stafford's at plus 120. And Joe Burrow is at plus 230, so 2.3-1 and 1.21 odds respectively on your money. But then you have Cooper Kupp at 5.5-1, Aaron Donald's 4th at 16, and then Ja'Marr Chase and Odell Beckham are 25-1. So these are pretty. That's pretty telling to me that Las Vegas thinks that Aaron Donald is about to have a monster game on the biggest stage of them all.
Well, if he's the third, you said he's the third choice. Fourth choice, okay.
2 quarterbacks, Cooper Kupp, then Aaron Donald.
Okay.
So that's pretty.
Yeah, the first 3 are no brainers, but the fourth one you could think about, and I think you're right about that. I kind of like that. I kind of like that too.
So I mean, I don't know what the history of this award and the odds have been, but I mean, let's look at the past couple Super Bowls. I mean, has there been a defensive guy capable of being the 4th favorite to win MVP?
The last time we had a defensive guy as an MVP, wasn't it Larry Allen?
Well, I think it was Dexter Jackson in 2001 when Tampa Bay beat then the Oakland Raiders.
Okay. So yeah,
he had
Allen was in the 90s when the Steelers played the Cowboys.
You mean Larry Brown?
Larry Brown, I'm sorry. Yeah, Larry Brown.
I only remember that. It was before my time. I only remember that because the Sixers coach, Larry Brown.
Yeah, he had 2. He had 2 interceptions. Now, speaking of that, Jalen Ramsey's a pretty good candidate to possibly get something along those lines.
Right, and that's going to be fun in itself because Jalen Ramsey is going to conceivably be matched up against one Ja'Marr Chase the entire football game.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I have the Rams. I picked the Rams at the beginning of the season to win the Super Bowl, and now that they're there, the one thing as I've been saying all season is they have a legitimate star in each part of their defense. As you remember, I've been saying this all year. Between Ramsey in the secondary, Von Miller at the linebacker position, and Donald in the front 4, not too many teams can boast that. You look at the Rams, and right now they have potentially on this team 4 to maybe 6 future Hall of Famers on this team. Okay, and
Who are they? I want to say
the three defensive players we talked about for sure.
Miller, Donald, and Ramsey.
Yeah, they all have a pretty good chance.
Okay.
Stafford, if he can win a couple of Super Bowls before he retires. Remember, I said potentially.
See, I think Matthew Stafford has cemented his legacy. Whether he gets in the Hall of Fame, you know how I feel about Hall of Fames these days.
They are kind of a joke.
We screamed about it for 2 hours last week, and we've screamed about the Hall of Fame before.
If he wins 2 Super Bowls, I'm talking about with Stafford, he's going to he'll definitely get in. If he wins one, he'll definitely open the door a lot more.
Yeah, but I'd rather look at Stafford's legacy. And
Stafford,
to me, when he out Tom Brady a couple weeks ago, that cemented his legacy. He's a big time player.
Oh, always has been.
27-3. He's up. A lot of things go wrong for his Rams team. Some of it his fault, some of it not his fault. But it's tied up 27-27, and it's crunch time.
And he has the wherewithal to rally them and get them back down. And a great throw to Cooper Kupp. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Just great throw after great throw. So, when you out Tom Brady on the road in the playoffs, I'm good. You're a legend.
No,
he's a Hall of Famer in my book.
You're right. The other Hall of Famers I'm talking about are Cooper Kupp, who certainly is going to have his opportunity, and maybe Beckham. If Beckham re-signs there and has a couple of really good years, I mean he's got a lot. He's got a lot of yardage receiving. So,
yeah, he seems to like it out there in LA, and
he had a monster. He had a monster game his last game. I mean, Kupp had 11 catches, but Beckham had 9, and he had over 100 yards.
Yeah, and I think Odell Beckham is primed for an extremely good game as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
he would be my second choice. I'm gonna agree, and I'm gonna play ball at 16-1 with Aaron Donald. But maybe I can put in another bet on Odell Beckham to go over his receiving yards, over and reception, something. I gotta get my hands on something Odell Beckham Jr. because I do think he's gonna have a big game. But I can't bet a receiver to win MVP when I think under 48.5 is the play from the over/under standpoint.
Yeah, there's running. You got the running backs too. But the question's going to be if the Rams get down there, who are they going to give the ball to, Kupp or Michelle?
Sony, and you got Cam Akers back in the mix as well.
Right. Not Kupp. I'm sorry. If they're going to give Cam Akers or Michelle the ball down by the goal line. That's a tough one. I mean, I think Akers is a better running back, but he may not be quite as big a load as Michelle is down by the goal line. So that's something you gotta watch for too.
There's so much talent on this Rams team. We just ran through it. I mean, 4 to 6 potential Hall of Famers.
Yep. And
then you have a great line, a pretty good line. The supporting cast around those defenses.
Their offensive line isn't so bad either,
See, now that's the kind of GM Rob Brinkman would be. Les Snead, I think his name is. I got a squad. I don't care about draft picks. Let's go. Let's go. Even if you lose and come up short, at least you can look yourself in the mirror and be like, you didn't leave nothing on the table.
No, and they're not, and you know what? They'll still have a chance to win next year because they got a lot of good players. And I know Odell is going to be a free agent, but Odell will probably re-sign there.
Odell, I think look, he likes it there.
Yeah, he's made his money. I think he stays in LA. I think he'd be crazy to want to leave there.
He's lived there. He likes the atmosphere. He likes the weather. He likes the party atmosphere. His buddies live out there. He likes it there.
Yep. And he's also got a hell of a team.
You said a couple weeks ago, and that he's kind of always tried to be on the Rams and out in LA. And I asked you why, and I did some digging, and I just said why. He likes it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And, Robert Woods late in the year tore his ACL. We saw that in Philadelphia with Carson, and you guys saw that with Saquon Barkley in New York. That's a 12-month injury.
Oh, yeah, and they don't come back so fast from that injury.
So, and there's no guarantee that Robert Woods will be the same type of player after his ACL. So, I mean, I think that the Rams would be wise. I don't know what their cap situation is, but I think they would be wise to re-sign him, but I think the price on Odell Beckham Jr. is about to go way up after this Super Bowl. I think he's going to have a good game.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think he's kind of gotten past the stench of being like a bad guy and like a cancer, because he's been a choir boy out in LA and he's been producing as well. So,
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I just think he wants to win. I think that's 3/4 of the problem with him. He just wants to win. He gets frustrated very easily when he's not winning. I think he's just got sick. He just got sick and tired of losing. He goes from the Giants, who had one good year with him there, and then he goes to the Browns, and they go from they start going up. They start bad, then they have a good year, and then they go right back down the ladder again. And he was probably really disgusted with what's going on with his career. So
because like he caught in New York, he caught the tail end of Eli, and then Eli got, he fell off a cliff. He just Father Time caught up to him.
after 2016, it was he.
But he had like 115 catches 2 years in a row with Eli.
Yeah, no, he was okay with Eli for a while, but again, Eli just got old. I mean, that's kind of when a quarterback turns 36, 37, and they're not very mobile to begin with. And then they had no line, and Odell had no help. What are you going to do? I mean, that was the problem.
Yeah, then they send him to Cleveland, and Baker Mayfield just not capable.
And then Baker Mayfield ends up being a
turd. Yeah, he's a stiff. He's a turd. He stinks. It's always something. It's always someone else's fault with Baker too.
Funny how he was always how he ragged on Daniel Jones, and he isn't any better.
No, he's really not, because
they both stink.
He's not big. He's not strong. He's not accurate enough. He doesn't make good enough decisions to be a game manager.
I mean, listen, he's a tough
gunslinger.
I'll give him this. He's a tough player. I give him that, but I mean, he's unless something happens to him differently next year, there's really no excuse, because they had a good offensive line. He had good receivers. No excuses.
Balance.
He just wasn't that good.
And it's put up or shut up time for Baker next year, because he'll be in a contract year. And then he winds up in LA, and McVay kind of not caters to him, but understands that Odell is at his best when he feels included, involved, and the team is winning. So they throw in a package every week for Odell Beckham to get involved early and often. That's what they did against the Niners, and it worked.
Oh, yeah. And listen, Odell, contrary to popular belief, Odell can block too, I mean, he's a terrific athlete. Have you ever seen him throw the ball?
Yeah, he threw. Wasn't it in the Niners game where he threw the?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great arm. They were joking. They were joking that he may have been the best quarterback on the Giants when he was playing there.
Might have been. Let's get into some comments here before we get into some other prop bets and our predictions on the game. Again, we're going to talk about Tom Brady and Brian Flores later on the show too. Maybe if we get a gap at the end of the show, we'll talk some NBA trade deadline. If you missed our NBA trade deadline talk yesterday on the Rant Booth, go download us in podcast form, wherever you get your podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes. It was a spirited hour-and-a-half debate about the NBA. It was a lot of fun, and we do it every Sunday down on the boardwalk in Ocean City, me and Johnny Coyle. So check it out. Our first comment is brought to you by Body Check Wellness, a line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for 25% off. Our first comment of the night comes from Jake Friel. He disagrees to the poll. Joe Burrow for Super Bowl MVP. That's Mr. LSU, Mr. Jake Friel. He hosts a couple of shows here, mainly featured on A2D Radio's Fan Friday every Friday. Evening time. It shifts around sometimes based on what games are on, but he does a great job on that. And he thinks Joe Burrow is going to win the Super Bowl MVP. If the Bengals win, I guarantee you Joe Burrow is going to be the MVP, because the Bengals don't have a shot in this game unless he has an MVP.
He's going to have a great game. He's going to have a great game. The Bengals are going to have to run the ball. I mean, it's that simple. I think maybe Mixon would have a shot at that too. Just because I think the Bengals are going to have to run the ball. If they have to continuously pass all the time with their offensive line, I think it's going to be a problem.
I agree with you. The only thing that gets in the way of your logic there is The Rams are extremely good against the run. I think they're third in the league against the run.
Well, then it's going to be on the Bengals to at least, stick with it and keep the Rams defense honest, because if they're going to be throwing on every down with that Rams front four and their secondary, the Bengals are going to have a problem.
But I mean, if anyone can do it, Joe Burrow can do it.
Oh, I don't disagree with you, but boy, the Rams are looking good though. They really are, and they're going to be tough to beat. I mean, I like the Rams. I think the Rams. I lay the lumber. I think the Rams are going to cover. I just think that they're the best team in the league right now, and I don't think Cincinnati has faced a team with this kind of a defense all season. So, getting into this,
Bryce Blackwell, he's in the house. Mike McDaniel is biracial. Did not realize that. His dad is African American. Okay. So, I mean, good for him, I guess. I mean, I just don't know if the guy can coach or not. I mean, he's Kyle Shanahan's offensive coordinator. Like, oh, cool. That sounds cool and sexy on paper. But, like, Kyle Shanahan, by all reports, is a control freak. So, like, what did Mike McDaniel actually do? Because it comes across to me and the rest of the fan base out there that Kyle Shanahan kind of does everything. So, like, what did you do? Just make sure Kyle Shanahan had flavor Gatorade he wants, or did you have your hands in the dough behind the scenes? We're going to find out.
Well, that same argument could be made about Josh McDaniels too, with Belichick.
Well, not really, because Belichick handles the defense.
Yeah, but he handles the offense too, though. Don't think he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything to do with the offense. I'm sure he is. Being a guy that coached with Parcells, okay, he knows exactly what's going on with the offense, and he'll change the play a lot, because that's how they used to do it in New York. So, and I would imagine that he would probably have done it this way as well. I don't think that he just lets his coordinators run wild on him. So, and also, if you take a look at all the guys that have come out of New England from the Belichick coaching tree, none of them really have done well.
Not really, but I think Josh McDaniels is going to do well. Number one, he's got a quarterback in Derek Carr.
Yeah, he does.
So you got that. And then I think Josh McDaniels was very young and immature when he coached the Denver Broncos a while back.
That was a long time ago.
I think that he's matured as a person and a football coach since then, and I think he's going to work this time around. But who knows? He might not. Rob Povia, he's in the house. Check him out on the Hockey Happy Hour. That's every Tuesday at 8 o'clock, pending the Flyers schedule. He disagrees with the poll. He's betting Matthew Stafford. Obviously, if you think the Rams are going to win the football game, it's a quarterback award. It's a quarterback league. So Matthew Stafford at plus 120. Not juicy odds, but
6-5. But what is that, 6-5?
I don't know. You're a horse racing guy, and I don't understand. I understand plus 120. I mean, if I put $100 on Matthew Stafford and he wins the MVP, I get $120.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So 6-5 morning favorite talk. I don't.
Yeah, it's 6-5. Yeah, 6-5.
I don't get it. So Bryce Blackwell thinks Aaron Donald can win the MVP. I like it. 16-1. I think he's gonna have a big game.
For 16-1, I think I kind of like it myself. I mean, I was thinking about him and how he could wreck the game. It would take a supreme effort by a defensive player to be able to do it, but he's the kind of guy that could definitely pull it off.
And Tom Arnone's in the house. He doesn't think Aaron Donald's going to win. He disagrees with the poll. I wonder if that means that Tom Arnone thinks that the Rams are going to lose the football game, and that's why he disagrees with the poll. I guess we'll find out on A2D Wednesday night. I'm sure they'll run through all their official picks for the big game there. But, we kind of touched on it. It sounds like we both like the Rams here. Yeah, I have a futures bet from the beginning of the season on the Rams. So that would be profitable for me if the Rams were able to get it done with Matthew Stafford. And I do think the Rams are going to get it done. They're favored by 4.5.
Oh, is it 4.5 now?
I saw 4.5 on FanDuel.
Last I saw was 4, and I think the over/under was either 48.5 or 49. I've seen that.
I saw 48.5.
Yeah, I've seen both of those.
But I mean, let's go through it. So, like I said, I'm picking the Rams 20-17 in the big game, and I'm picking Aaron Donald for MVP. I think the under is a stone lock.
Oh, I love the under.
48.5.
Yeah, I think
We'll run through some of these props. Let me see, because I have money on FanDuel. There it is. So you have the MVP, first touchdown scorer. We'll look at some receiving props. I said I wanted to find some Odell Beckham action to get my hands on. Most receiving yards, Chase. All right, so who has more receiving yards in the game, Brad? Cooper Kupp or Ja'Marr Chase?
Ja'Marr Chase.
Even with Ramsey on him?
Mm-hmm.
And
the reason I think that is because they're not gonna throw the ball to Higgins as often as Stafford's gonna throw the ball to Cooper Kupp or Beckham. So I think he will get more chances. I think that he's gonna Ja'Marr Chase. I don't think Ramsey's completely going to stop him. I don't think anybody can completely stop him. I don't think he's going to kill him though. And that's the whole thing. I mean, I could see like 8 catches for 90 yards for Ja'Marr Chase. And I'm not sure that Beckham is going to get 90 yards receiving.
Well, it's Kupp.
Kupp. I mean, Kupp will definitely get
Kupp versus Chase, not Odell.
Oh, it's Kupp. Oh, Kupp is gonna get more.
Oh, let me get on a different. I don't want to dog anybody, but one of the major sports apps is much easier to use than the other.
Oh boy.
And it is. Sorry, excuse me. And it is -4, 48.5 over under.
Okay.
What's the prop, Bob Brinkman? What's the prop on sacks by the Rams? I'm going to try and find that. Touchdown scorers.
I'm going to guess 3.5 for sacks for the Rams is going to be the number.
We got passing props. I'm a big under guy in this game, so the passing props, I would imagine that I'm going to be unders. Bob Brinkman thinks the Rams are going to get over 5 sacks. I mean, I think the game is setting up that way. I think the Bengals have serious problems on their offensive line. And listen, like, I love watching the Bengals. Look, I've been on the Bengals the whole way. I had the Bengals against the Raiders, -6, won, and covered. I had the Bengals over the Titans, +3.5.
They won the game outright
and covered. I had
the
Bengals. I had the Bengals money line and spread against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Both bets hit. So this team's got it going on. There's no doubt about it. But, you beat the Raiders. They're a better team than the Raiders. They should have beat the Raiders. Plus, the Raiders made so many mental mistakes, so many penalties by the Raiders in that game. They basically gave the game to the Bengals. And I don't like doing it.
And the Bengals were playing at home, too.
And the Bengals were at home. Pete Evans is in the house. Pete's on Birds of a Feather every Thursday night here on A2D Radio. He disagrees with the poll. He thinks it's going to be Stafford. Yeah, if you think the Rams are going to win and you think there's going to be some points compiled, Stafford is – and that would be poetic justice, I think. I think that would be a well-deserved MVP award because he paid his penance in Detroit.
He sure did. Boy, did he ever.
And now he's in L.A. sitting pretty in the Super Bowl. So a win for Matthew Stafford and an MVP win at that would be poetic justice. So getting back to the Bengals and why I think their carriage is going to turn into a pumpkin, so to speak, is you go to Tennessee. First off, a little bit of Fugazi 1 seed in Tennessee. Like, they weren't better than the Bills and the Chiefs.
No, and don't forget, Derrick Henry was coming back from major injury. He was clearly not his regular self, and
So
they found a way to win. And really, that division was pretty awful this year.
So you had a team that was the 1 seed in the AFC that was maybe the 3rd best team in the conference. So you catch a break there, and then everything goes wrong for you in that game. Your offensive line gets dominated. You let up an NFL playoff record, 9 sacks. You don't really do much offensively because of that, and you're able to capitalize on mistake after mistake by the Tennessee Titans. And you're able.
Tannehill kind of.
Yeah, he spit the bit.
Yeah,
he spit the bit, big time, and he turned the ball over at 3 times, 1 in the last 2 minutes of the game, and the Bengals go in there and they steal a game.
Opening drive too in the second half as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the Bengals go in there, they steal the game, and they go to the AFC title game. Then they're not as good as a team as the Chiefs. They're on the road. They're 7-point underdogs. But you go down, what was it, 14-3 at halftime, 17-3 at halftime?
They were down 21-3, weren't they?
I don't think it got that bad.
It was. I'm sorry. It was 17-3, and then they.
I think it was 14 because they got shut out. The Chiefs went for it at 14-3. I think, right? On the goal line before the half, and they didn't get anything.
Right.
So it was 14-3 at half, and then the Bengals got to stop.
14-10, and then the Chiefs made it 17-10, and then the Bengals made, and then it was 17-13, and then they essentially began their comeback. I mean, you have to give the Bengals a lot of credit, though. It takes a lot of guts to be able to come back.
The Chiefs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they choked.
Yeah, pretty much.
They choked.
Pretty much.
So now you're going to LA for the Super Bowl. By the way, this is Los Angeles Rams' home stadium. I know they're probably going to have to stay in a hotel per NFL rules and guidelines and COVID stuff. So they're not going to be able to sleep in their home beds per se. But they're going to be practicing the same place they practiced all week, right?
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of Ram fans there. There's a lot of support.
There's a comfort level with that stadium that can be soothing in a championship high-pressure format. So, I mean, and I think that the Rams just have better players than the Bengals.
Yeah, the Rams are just the Rams are loaded, and most of their guys are in their prime right now. I think the Bengals right now they might be a little too young for this.
Like the Rams are, and I want the Rams to win because I want people to realize that, especially people who root for a certain basketball team in Philadelphia, that it's okay to go for it when you have the goods. When you have Donald and Jalen Ramsey and Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and you sign Odell Beckham, and then you go ahead and trade for Von Miller. You give up a lot for Matthew Stafford. Like, you're pushing all in, and I love it.
Yeah.
Too many people are worried about, I can't trade for Matthew Stafford right now because I have Jared Goff, and he might develop into Matthew Stafford. No. You go get Matthew Stafford, who's a proven stud, gunslinging franchise quarterback.
As Herman Edwards would say, you play to win the game, right?
Correct.
So you know what? Play to win the Super Bowl. The idea is to win a championship. It's not about making, especially if you're the Rams, okay? The idea is to win a championship. The Rams have never won a championship in LA.
And it also tells me that the Rams GM, Les Snead, I believe his name is, everyone in the chat is free to correct me. He believes in his people and himself to find players to keep him competitive and complement his stars in rounds other than the first and second round. I love that. I love that.
Oh,
Bet
yeah,
on
I
yourself.
do too. I mean, listen.
Bet on yourself.
Yeah, the idea is to win a championship. It's not to make the playoffs. The idea is to win a championship. So good for them that they went all in, and I think they are the best team this year. They've pretty much, when they've had to win, they've won. Now they did lose twice to San Francisco. I get that, but you know what? When it really mattered, they were able to beat San Francisco, and when they had
Brad,
to San Francisco, they did.
Let's just say like they couldn't do that comeback last week or whenever it was in the NFC Championship game, and you lose to the Rams for a third time. At least you can say like, all right, like I did everything I could.
I went all in. I got the best players I could find.
I can look myself in the mirror as a general manager and an assembler of talent and say, I did the best I could. I got all these guys, and I still have some of these guys, and we're going to try again next year with the best talent. Not a bunch of maybes, not a bunch of draft picks, not 20-year-olds that might be James Harden one day, but they're not now. Foreshadowing to a little bit of our basketball conversation if we get there. But let's get back to the Super Bowl. Bob Brinkman, look at how the Rams closed out the last two possessions against the Niners. That they really shut them out. Yeah,
the defense. Yeah, the Rams defense. Well, when the Rams defense seemed like they were inspired and had their pedal to the metal, the 49ers couldn't do much of anything. They really couldn't. And they really didn't do much of anything all game.
I don't know what to make out of Kyle Shanahan. I know the popular opinion, the popular narrative is to say Kyle Shanahan's a genius. He's a great schemer, and he's a great play caller. Things that I've called Kyle Shanahan in the past, and Jimmy G holds him back. Well, we're going to find out because I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the San Francisco 49ers next year.
I think you can pretty much guarantee that he is not going to.
And we're going to see how big of a genius Kyle Shanahan is, and how he's handled the development of one Trey Lance.
Here's another thought. Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo maybe to the 49ers, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Could happen. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go there, is Jimmy Garoppolo a good fit there? Yeah, I think so.
Look, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback.
With those weapons, he would be unbelievable.
I think it's popular it's popular and easy for sports fans to just say, well, he's not as good as Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, and he's not a top 5 quarterback. Like, he stinks.
You don't necessarily have to be a top 5 quarterback to win a championship. You have to be being very good is good enough if you've got enough talent around you.
Now, what if Jimmy Garoppolo goes down to Tampa Bay or Pittsburgh or wherever and has success? And Kyle Shanahan, can't get his Ferrari-like offense out of the garage because he can't develop Trey Lance.
Well, I think he's going to go out and he's going to go find himself a veteran backup, a proven veteran backup, example. And I'll give you a couple of examples. The two guys that were on the Bears this year, Dalton and Foles. One of those two guys, may not be a bad backup in case it doesn't work out with Lance.
I mean, okay.
I'm just saying
that's not going for it, like we said with the Rams.
Yeah, but if you drafted Lance, does that automatically mean he has to start?
When you give up what they gave up to get Trey Lance, I absolutely think it does.
Well, that's why they're probably going to get rid of Garoppolo, but I still think that they're going to go sign themselves a veteran quarterback to just to play it safe. But I could see Garoppolo on the Bucs. That would be a very good move for them.
And
It probably wouldn't take more than a second or third rounder at most.
Bill, we're gonna get a little off-season stuff later, but we see
the Bucs have Fournette. They've got a running game.
Maybe not. Fournette is a free agent, so we'll see.
They'll probably re-sign him.
I mean, I would assume that they're going to have money with.
Yeah, you would think
with
so.
Brady
with Brady
retiring,
being
right?
gone. Yeah, and Gronk isn't going to be there, right?
All right, let's get back to some Super Bowl prop bets, and we'll get back in the offseason. We're gonna, Bill. We're gonna bookmark your comment, and we're gonna get into it later. I promise. Appreciate you tuning in, buddy. But you get back to some of these prop bets. Joe Burrow passing yards 273.5, Matthew Stafford 279. I think those are high. I really do.
I think perhaps Burrow has a better chance to hit his number than Stafford does to hit his number, because I think the Rams are going to run the ball a lot more than you might think, even though they've got all the firepower. I think that they're going to try to run the ball. So they can, and I think they'll be successful running the ball as well. I mean, that's the one thing that they didn't have to worry about with Kansas City. Kansas City does not really run the ball all that well. Terrific passing team, but they don't really run the ball that well. I mean, the Titans were able to run the ball against them pretty successfully.
Yeah, Henry had a decent, even though he was out for a while, Henry had a decent game, and Deontay Foreman had some yards in that game. Well,
Foreman had a lot. Foreman had a tremendous game.
I think they had $140 between them.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be something. I think the Rams are going to be effective running the ball against them. So I don't see Stafford getting that many. I think he'll get a lot. I think he could get 2, 3, maybe 4 touchdown passes. That's a possibility. But I don't think you're going to see a tremendous amount of yardage out of him. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. And they should.
So I like the under. I like the under on both of those, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think Joe Burrow is going to spend a significant amount of time on his backside in this game, and it's going to be hard to throw for 275 passing yards when you're getting hit all game.
Well, and here's the other thing, Rob. The 49ers were getting a lot of passing yardage on screen passes, and quick shots over the middle to avoid the pass rush. But, when push came to shove and the 49ers tried to do that at the end of the game, they got nowhere, because the Rams were like, you're not getting any screen passes anymore. We're not giving you a short pass anymore.
It tightened up.
Yeah, they really did. And the Rams defense is just, it's a lot. The Rams defense is a lot better than anything they've faced all season. I think that's going to be something that it's going to be very tough for them. For the Bengals, that is.
And you look at the passing. I do like. They're both at 1.5 passing touchdowns, over under 1.5 passing touchdowns. So I already said I think the final score is going to be 20-17. So that means I'm boxed into both, each team having 2 passing touchdowns for those bets to hit. So those bets don't make any sense. Plus, I mean, Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdowns minus 165, and Matthew Stafford over 1.5 is minus 225. I think Stafford would have the better chance of going over. But I mean, I don't. The odds accompany with that number, like under 1.5 for Joe Burrow is plus 120, under 1.5 for Stafford is plus 165. So I would rather take a shot with the plus money.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the points will sort of be at a premium, but again, I see 27-17 Rams. I think the Rams are going to put 3 in there. So if I'm going to bet on anybody as far as the touchdown pass is concerned, I would bet Stafford. Because I agree. I just think first of all, I think the Rams are going to win the game. I do think they're going to put more points on the board. And I think their defense is going to keep Cincinnati somewhat in check. I don't know that Burrow is going to get more than 1 touchdown passing the ball. That's asking a lot. I think they're going to have to get in close and have Mixon run it in.
Interceptions is interesting. Both quarterbacks at over 1/2 of an interception. I think both guys are probably going to throw a pick.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100% there.
I like defense. I really do. I know that sounds weird because we got some firepower on offense with Stafford and Burrow and
Yeah, but
good
these two
running
teams
game.
have a very good defense. And boy, the Bengals their defense really turned it on in the second half to completely stifle Kansas City in the second half because they did a nice job.
Look at some rushing and receiving props. Rushing yards, like Cam Akers, 63.5 over under rushing yards. That seems high.
That does seem high.
It seems really high. Cam Akers. Oh, I'm going to write this one down. Cam Akers over 15.5 receiving yards.
That's an easy one.
I think that could be. I'm not even writing down the right thing. Akers over. Formulating my Brinkman locks live on the air here at A2D Radio. We are the Sports Hounds. He's Brad Ryer. I'm Rob Brinkman. Exclusive on A2DRadio.com. So Cam Akers over 15.5 receiving yards. I think that's fairly easy. I think he could get that in one play. Look, when you're looking at these props, right, especially with one as low as 15.5, like Cam Akers.
One play.
Exactly. He could get that in one play.
He could get that on a third and 20. They could throw a screen pass to him, and he could get 15
yards, and you win. Exactly.
Yeah. So
and then
yeah,
you look at Cooper Kupp at 106.5 over under. Like he's probably going to have 8 catches in the game to have that.
He might.
To me, that's way harder to prognosticate an over in that than it is Cam Akers 15.5 receiving yards.
I agree because he can do it in one play.
Ja'Marr Chase over 78.5 receiving yards. I don't like that number at all because I think he's going to have Ramsey on him all game. Bob Brinkman, Ramsey will be on Chase all game. Rams will try and shut out Chase. So
yeah, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think anybody can really shut him out. But as I said, you can kind of keep him under control and not let him kill you.
But like 78.5, I think that's a good number.
Yeah. What's T. Higgins?
Let's see. T. Higgins.
I'd be curious about that one.
68.5. Again, I think that's a fair number, so I'm going to stay away from that.
That should be an under.
When you're looking at these props, at least for me, and if you want real betting advice, be an A2D member, $9.99 a month. You get the free picks from the Money Pop Podcast and Willie Vegas, 2 guys who are much sharper than me. So, like, if I think it's a fair number, like, I'm staying away from it. And then I'm trying to take advantage of extremes. Like, if I see a really low one, like Cam Akers, 15.5 receiving yards, something that could be achieved on one play, I'm all over that. If I see something outlandish, like if Cooper Kupp was like over under 130 yards rushing or receiving, like I'm betting the under. Yeah, I'm betting the under. He's probably gonna have to have 10 catches to get that 13 yards a catch, 10 catches. It's not. He's at 106, but you bet under the extremes one way or the other. The really low ones, you bet the over. The really high ones, you bet the under. That's just how I look at it. Like Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's number is 40.5. I think that 40.5 receiving yards for Tyler Boyd. That's an over. That's a good over bet for me.
Yeah, I mean, he'll need 3. He'll need 3 receptions. To do that.
And he's a trusted slot guy for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow trusts him. He trusts Higgins and Chase too, but like I'll take the lowest number, the number that I think is not fair at 40.5, and bet the over. Boyd over 40.5. So we're formulating the Brinkman locks, the sports hound. We'll call them the sports hound locks because I won't write anything down that we don't believe in. We don't both believe it.
I like Boyd.
And then Van Jefferson's 30.5, but that's.
He's the tight end on the Rams, correct?
He's the slot receiver.
Who's their tight end now?
Well, Higbee's
probably not going to play, is he?
So they have that Kendrick Blanton or whatever his name is, who did.
He had one hell of a game in the championship game.
But you got the run. You got Michelle, who's like who's getting looks before Van Jefferson? A lot of guys, right?
Right.
Kupp, Odell, Stoney
He probably won't
Michel.
get more than 2 or 3 catches.
He's busted long ones before, but I don't know if I'm that. I don't know if I'm getting. I don't know if I'm getting into that. And receptions, like Cam Akers is 2.5 over under 2.5 receptions. If he gets 2 receptions, he's getting over 15.5 yards.
Oh, easily. I think he gets 3.
So that's an over. Like Cooper Kupp's over unders 8.5. I don't know. That's a good number.
That's a fair number. I think he could do better than that. I think he'll do more than that.
And I think I just found my Odell Beckham Jr. action. Because Odell Beckham Jr. over under. What do you like better? Odell Beckham Jr. over under 63.5 yards receiving, or over under 5.5 catches?
Ooh.
Because he's only plus 120 to score a touchdown. He's 9-1 to get the first touchdown.
But yeah, I wouldn't count on him getting a touchdown. But 5.5, I think he will catch more than 5.5 passes.
So you think he gets 6 catches?
Yeah, I could see him doing that. How many targets do you think he's going to get? Especially if they.
But see, I'm nervous about that because we both agree that the Rams are going to be able to run the football against the Bengals.
Yeah, that's the one problem. I think they're going to run the ball. How much did you say Akers was as far as running yards?
Akers is 63.5 rushing yards.
I think he'll get more than that. I kind of like him to get the first touchdown too.
See, I don't understand why I don't see a Stoney Michel rushing yards bet. Interesting.
Yeah, well, he's not going to get the ball that much. They give the ball to him in short yardage situations mostly now.
So Cam Akers. So if you add up rushing and receiving yards, will Cam Akers be over 83.5?
Yeah, I think he will.
That's a bad. See, I think that's a bad number. Because if he's projected to get over, if he's over under for what's 63 and 15,
78.
78. So they're adding 5 to the rushing receiving yards number.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't like that. Seems fishy.
No,
that seems fishy to me. So yeah. I'm gonna stick with my over 15.5 receiving yards, and we got Tyler Boyd over 40.5 receiving yards. Those are our 2 Sport Towns recommended prop bets thus far. And I need to get some Odell Beckham action, and obviously I'm gonna have Aaron Donald as the MVP.
How many sacks does he need to get? By the way, Aaron Donald. Is there any props for that?
Sure, there is. Let's see. Some defensive props.
I'm going to guess 1.5 at least.
So to answer Bob Brinkman's inquiry, the Rams are over under is 3.5 sacks. Over being plus 105, under being minus 3.5. That's a good bet.
They'll get more than 3.5 sacks.
That's a team. That's a team stat, not an Aaron Donald stat.
I know.
3.5 sacks by the Rams at plus money. That's a steal.
Yeah, I like that.
Aaron Donald to record 1 sack is minus 200. So like you gotta lay lumber there, but that's probably gonna happen.
You would think so.
Well, like you gotta put $100 out up to win 50. I don't like doing bets.
No, I don't. No, that's 1 to 2 is not. No, I don't like that at all. I used to see. I always see to revert to the track, Rob.
I'm trying to see if there's.
But you know what, though? If you think about it, though, okay, and I have a theory about when you go to the track.
Right.
There are certain races where the track is giving away free money. If you really know how to handicap, you'll find like 2 or 3 races on every card where the track is just giving you money. They're handing it to you if you want to take it. Okay, you may not win a lot, but they're saying, listen, you can have some money for this race. Okay, we're running this race so you can recoup some of your money. Okay, if you're down $50, okay, we got this great 1 to 2 shot for you. Who's going to win by? Who's going to destroy the other horses? It's going to win by 10 lengths. Okay, there's always a couple of races like that. Okay, I think in a case like, and usually you're going to win on those. Okay, I think on something like that, it might be worth the 1 to 2 with Donald. That's easy money. He's going to get 1.
I mean, he's right there every play.
That's
so
what
yeah,
I'm saying.
that's.
I mean, he'll run into 1 because the Rams are going to be putting enormous pressure on Burrow all game.
I'm in. You sold me.
Yeah, all right. It's 1 to 2, but as I said before, when you go to the track, okay, especially with the trotters, okay, because I like to bet the trotters.
What's a trotter?
The ones that drive the chariots.
Oh, okay.
My friends call them chariot racing,
Like,
but I mean it's harness
ancient
racing.
Roman time shit.
Yes, especially with those races. If you get a 1 to 2 shot, okay, and I mean there's a reason why it's a 1 to 2 shot. Its times are significantly faster. They have speed. They can make early moves and late moves because most horses can only make 1 move. Usually, when horses are that favored, they're capable of making 2 moves in a race. That's why you're only getting 1 to 2, but they're going to win. So see, those are the kind of bets that sometimes you have to look for and take the free money. I mean that's how you do it with horse racing. When there's free money to be had, if there's a 1 to 2 horse in the race, okay, and you're throwing him out, bad move. Don't bet the race then if you're going to throw him out, or bet very lightly. Because generally they're going to win and you're going to lose your money. You're going to just waste your money.
But I feel like when I do it, like the horse won't want to go into the gate, and he'll be scared, and he'll spit the bit, and I'll lose anyway.
With harness racing, they
if you're gonna, I mean, I think you understand my narrative.
I understand your narrative, but
nerd out on horse racing on me and make me look dumb. That's
no. I don't mean to do that, but no. When you've got something that seems pretty easy, those are the kind of things you want to take. You want to take a couple of, if they're giving it away, one of
my gold. The only thing I'm going to counter is one of my golden rules is, if it looks too easy, it probably is.
Yeah, but when you're, and I'm not saying there's no such thing as, and nothing is guaranteed. I mean, he could get injured too. Stuff like that happens all the time with football. So that's a chance you take. But if he plays injury free for the entire game, he's going to get at least 1. He may get 2 or 3.
Bill Middlebrook, yeah. Well, I mean, we're that's all right. We like that you're passionate. You're bringing a lot to the table. We're going to get into some of the off-season stuff and some Eagles stuff and some Giants stuff when we talk about Tom Brady here in a few minutes. But we're going through the Super Bowl. We got a nice little bet card here that I'm really liking. Looks like money for days for the Sports Hounds Super Bowl prop bet card. Greg Milakovic's in the house. He hosts. He's a part of Agree to Disagree every Sunday with Tom Arnone, Uncle Sweeps, and Willie Vegas. He's a monster, but I'll disagree with the poll. Give Stafford or Kupp. And then Bob Brinkman, I think he agrees that Aaron Donald having a sack is a little bit of free money, because you got to think that, if I think he's going to win MVP, he's going to have multiple sacks, right? Common sense logic right there.
Yeah. So listen, you're betting on yourself. If you think If you think he's going to have if you can't bet on him to at least get a sack, why do you think he's going to be the MVP?
The only thing I have to do is get some Odell Beckham action into this card.
How many yards did he say he has to get?
68.5, 5.5 receptions. Greg, I know you're a degenerate too, so if you want to give me your thoughts, if you're still in the chat with us about how I can get some Odell Beckham Jr. love onto this Super Bowl prop card, I would love to hear your insight.
He'll get a chance to run the ball once.
So rushing yards prop.
Yeah, he'll get a chance to run the ball.
Good one.
Everybody always tries to get
see
him
if they have it. I'm on DraftKings right now.
You know there'll be one play where he gets to run the ball, or he might end up throwing it.
I don't have that. I have Ja'Marr Chase over under 3.5, but I don't have an Odell Beckham posted total.
Okay.
So like a TD score maybe. That's only plus 120 to score a touchdown. He's 9-1 to score the first touchdown. I don't like that.
No. I don't like that. I don't really I'm not crazy about betting on him to get a touchdown either. I think
how many catches do you think he's going to have?
Who, Beckham?
Yes.
Between 4 and 6. But again, the only problem I have is that I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Rams.
I guess I just can't. Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to force the action. I'm not going to be an amateur. I'm not going to be an idiot.
Yeah, you don't want to.
He gets over the catches, but under the yards. You know, I'm not going to force it.
Take the free. Listen, you had one bet that was in my opinion, may have been the mortal lock of the year when you bet the backup running back on the Cowboys to get, what was it, 8 yards?
Yeah, and I lost.
No, you won that game.
Did I?
Yeah, he had it after the first quarter.
A rare win. I've made bets like that before.
You bet Pollock, I think it was against Kansas City when Dallas played Kansas City. You bet Pollock would have 8 yards.
I remember making the bet. I think it was a game where Zeke didn't even play. So I'm like looking at it like
it was really low. I mean,
Greg likes him to score. The only way I'm doing it is to score, Greg, like plus 120 to score a touchdown. Like I don't think unless let me make sure I'm reading the odds right. Touchdown scores because he's plus 120 anytime score, 9-1 first touchdown score, 9-1 last touchdown score. Me and Brad are both in agreement that we think the Rams are going to be able to run the football. I'm also disappointed I don't see a Sony Michel rushing yards prop posted. Only Cam Akers. So I don't know. I'm not going to force the action with Odell Beckham. So we got a pretty sweet, juicy Super Bowl prop bet card right here. We got Greg. Now parlays are sucker bad. I haven't won a parlay. I'm 32 years old. I've made millions and millions and millions of parlay bets, and I haven't hit one yet. The next one I hit will be the first one. I always miss by one leg, and I always miss in excruciating fashion. I'm out on parlays. I just do my straight bets and be good. Parlaying with Kupp or Akers, I don't know. So I like Aaron Donald.
It's hard enough to hit one of those, let alone two of them.
So we got Aaron Donald to record a stack minus 200. We have Cam Akers over 15.5 receiving yards. We have Tyler Boyd over 40.5 receiving yards, and we have the Rams team total for sacks at over 3.5. I like Aaron Donald. I'm going to roll the dice at 16-1. Aaron Donald takes home the MVP.
Yeah, I like it.
An hour's flown by here, Brad. Let's get into our official Super Bowl predictions. I like the Rams 20-17.
I'm going to pick the Rams 27-20.
27-20. So we both like the Rams. So I guess I don't like the Rams to cover.
I do.
Which is fine.
Which is okay.
We're going to bet the under. So we're going to add under 48.5. in the game to our bet card. So to review our bet card, we have Aaron Donald to record a sack at minus 200. Cam Akers over 15.5 receiving yards. Tyler Boyd over 40.5 receiving yards. Aaron Donald at 16-1 to be the MVP. The Rams over 3.5 sacks. And we have the game going under the posted total of 48.5.
And you're going to have to, and you need to put more money, of course, on the Donald sack. That should be your highest bet.
Right, because it's minus 200.
Right, and it should also be the bet of the year. Listen, if he stays healthy, okay, in the game, he doesn't have to come out of the game because he gets hurt or something. You'll be fine. As I said, I think he's going to get sacked a lot. Burrow. I can see 5-6 sacks easily in this game.
I think the Bengals are going to hang in there.
Yeah, they will because they've got a real good defense, and they'll run the ball a little bit. They'll try to.
Oh, there was another one because Joe Mixon. I don't think he's going to reach his. So Joe Mixon's at 62.5 rushing yards. I like the under on that.
I don't think
a
so.
lot.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We're gonna add that. We're gonna add Joe Mixon.
Mixon under 62.
62.5.
62.5.
I think Joe Mixon's more likely to.
Well, if he gets the ball, he's going to probably run the ball. You think he's going to run the ball 15 times? Because if he runs the ball, if he runs the balls, he's going to have to run the ball to get that. He's going to have to run the ball at least 16 times.
Yeah, and he'll have to get 4 yards a carry, which is going to be tough against a stout run defense.
And I don't know that the Bengals are going to be able to run the ball effectively against the Rams. I don't see that happening at all. I mean, Leonard Fournette wasn't able to do it, so I don't see it.
So that's our Super Bowl preview. We have a bunch of bets. We both like the Rams. We have some prop bets that we can hopefully help the people make some money. Hopefully we make some money. I think we got some solid winners here. I want to talk about Tom Brady. Our Tom Brady conversation tonight is going to be brought to you by Alan Foy at eXp Realty. Looking to buy or sell a home, looking for a change in brokerage, career brokerage, contact Alan Foy, eXp Realty. 302-682-8820 or visit him at alanfoy at exprealty.com. So Tom Brady, I want to get it because I don't quite buy this retirement yet. When I see someone, because damn it, Brad, if Tom Brady doesn't get the itch around training camp to play football and he hits up Tampa Bay and says he wants to play, Tampa Bay would be foolish not to let him. So I'll believe Tom Brady's retired when a quarterback not named Tom Brady.
So you're accusing him of being Muhammad Ali Jr. then? Every fight was his last
I think I'm more accusing him of being Brett Favre.
Okay, yeah.
Being like, I think I'm done and I think I'm shot, but training camp's going to come around and my brain is trained to play football when August comes.
Tom Brady. Here's the thing with Tom Brady: he's not shot. He's still really good. He's still really good. If he just
either him or Rodgers for MVP this year,
he had an outstanding season.
And the Tampa Bay apple cart. I mean, I think they're going to lose some guys in free agency. We'll see what happens, but the apple cart, meaning Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles, and Byron Leftwich. None of those guys got jobs, and Arians is still the head coach. So you know what you're coming back to. You're still going to have Mike Evans. Their offensive line's pretty good.
What exactly ended up happening with Godwin? What kind of injury?
He tore his ACL.
Oh, okay.
Late in the season.
Oh, then
he's a free agent.
Yeah, okay. He's not going to be back then.
So
But
I don't know.
Tampa Bay is so smart; they'll find a receiver to replace him. You know they will, or they'll draft one.
Yeah, well, unless it's J.J. Arcega-Whiteside or Jalen Reagor, every young receiver that steps into the league looks like they have a pulse. So yeah, receiver should be one of the easier positions to replenish if you lose. Obviously, you lose Antonio Brown because he's short circuited yet again, and Godwin is at the very least, if you resign him, you're not going to have him next year very much because he tore his ACL late in the year. But for all intents and purposes, for the sake of this conversation, we'll put my conspiracy theory aside, and we'll assume that Tom Brady is done at the age of 44. First off, our teams are really the only teams that were able to get to him in a championship setting. Eli beats him twice, and Nick Foles beats him once. Those are his 3 Super Bowl losses right there. So we can reminisce and be proud of that. Obviously, Stafford ends his career, but I mean, just the undisputed GOAT of the NFL.
Well, Peyton Manning kind of beat him a few times too.
Few. But
I think he beat him 3 times, right, in the playoffs.
Brady pummeled him.
Well, for the most part.
They had that one showdown in Denver.
Yeah.
Where it was just a heavyweight fight, shootout.
Right.
Mahomes, Allen type quarterback performances on both ends, and Peyton was able to beat him. And Peyton beat him in the one AFC Championship game as the Colts. But, I mean, Brady won that rivalry.
Oh, and Brady won every rivalry except against Manning, Eli, and against Foles.
And you can even say he split with the Eagles because he was able to beat McNabb and Owens in the one Super Bowl. But, Brad, I want to talk about the ripple effect that this is going to have on the league because it's very interesting that the AFC is about to have a stranglehold on conference supremacy over the NFC. All the young quarterbacks with Brady gone and potentially Rodgers out of Green Bay are in the AFC. You have Herbert, you have Derek Carr, you have Mahomes, you have Allen, you have Burrow. Aaron Rodgers could potentially move to the AFC. We don't know what he's going to do. Leaving the NFC rather wide open.
We don't know. We don't really know what's going to happen with Russ either.
But I mean, I think that
until I actually see a press conference, I'm going to assume that he stays in Seattle.
Okay, so he'll stay in the NFC, but
yeah,
the Niners have to roll with Trey Lance.
Oh, absolutely.
At some point. You got to think, at least in the short term, that's going to be a downgrade from Jimmy Garoppolo, but it might not be. So you have Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, and Matthew Stafford at the top of the conference. Russ is a very good quarterback, whether he stays in Seattle or not. I mean, Seattle's a flawed football team. They got a lot of work to do to catch up to the other teams in their division.
In all fairness, though, they did have a lot of injuries last year.
Look, if you have Russ, you have a chance.
Yeah, and they still have Lockett, and they still have
with the weakness in the East.
DK Metcalf, so
it wouldn't surprise me next year that if, for the first time ever, all 4 teams from a division potentially make the playoffs.
Oh, in the West,
in the NFC West,
that would be hard though because it
would be hard, but the South, nobody knows what's going to go on there. The Saints are a mess. They hired Dennis Allen.
They're gonna struggle because of their cap situation,
and they don't have a quarterback.
No.
Tampa has a pretty good roster, but they don't have a franchise quarterback anymore. Atlanta and Carolina, they're just not very good.
Carolina stinks, and Atlanta is just not ready to take the next step.
If you take Aaron Rodgers off the Packers, that's a one bid conference, one bid division.
Are we sure about that, though?
About what? If Aaron Rodgers leaves, only one team in that division is going to make the playoffs?
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying Minnesota might make the playoffs next year.
Maybe.
They might. They're still not. They're not.
Yeah, I said it, and I said at the top of the show that every vacancy was full, which isn't officially true yet. But I think that the writing's on the wall that Minnesota's going to hire the Rams offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell. They just can't.
What about Justin Fields now? You think he can take the next step next year?
You see, but it's hard for me because I don't think he has the support system in Chicago when they hire a defensive coach. I don't understand. I don't get it. I love Justin Fields. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. So, yeah, I think if Aaron Rodgers is out of the mix there, I would take a shot in my preseason predictions and say that the Bears are going to win that division.
Yeah, I have to honestly say, though, I don't think Rodgers is going anywhere. I mean, I know they talk and they talk and they talk, but you know what? If you go into the draft and they go and they get another receiver for him, he'll probably be happy.
Look, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play.
Is Devontae Adams going to get re-signed? That's a good question.
The Packers' cap situation is not great, and Devontae Adams is a free agent.
That's what I'm saying. Are they going to be able to re-sign him?
I know that time will tell. I think Aaron Rodgers ultimately either retires or plays in Green Bay. Because
I'd be pretty surprised, but I'll tell you what, if they don't re-sign Devontae Adams, he's gone.
We talked about, and before the show started in the backstage here on the StreamYard here, Aaron Rodgers is smart. He's a meticulous jerk off who's going to do what's best for Aaron Rodgers each and every time. There's no way he plays there's no way he's going to an AFC team.
No.
He's not messing around with Mahomes and Allen and Herbert and Burrow and Carr and all.
Why would he? He's either going to stay in Green Bay or he's going to go to Tampa. I think Tampa could be in play for Garoppolo too. I don't think it would be a bad move for them to get him.
That would be a wimp move if Aaron Rodgers went to Tampa Bay. Following the footsteps of Brady.
Would you be surprised? I mean, he'd basically be pulling a Durant.
Right. Yeah, it's a great analogy. That's the same thing as Durant going to the Warriors after he couldn't beat the Warriors with the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's a great analogy.
Yeah, I think. I mean,
this is a guy. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him because Brad, this is a guy who doesn't give a what about anything that we say on this program or any program. He's going to march the beat of his own drum, and he's going to do whatever the hell he wants. So he could.
I agree. I agree with you. Ultimately, I do think he stays in Green Bay, but I'll tell you what, if they don't re-sign Devontae Adams,
he'll walk away. He'll freak out and walk away.
Yeah. I think that's what you got to kind of keep your eye on. If Devontae is re-signed and they go out and they bring in another receiver, or they draft another receiver, I think they'll be fine. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to want another receiver. And this bull about blaming their defense, that their defense wasn't that good this year. Their defense played very well in their playoff game. They just couldn't score.
Yeah, they scored on the opening drive, and they didn't do anything. Tom Arnone chimes in. He thinks he's back with the Pack next year. Tend to agree. Either that or he retires.
Yeah, I would.
Because Aaron Rodgers, he's not messing around with Philadelphia. He's not messing around with the New York Giants. He's not messing around with
why would he want to go to the Giants?
No, he's not.
Why would the Giants even try to get him?
Let's go back to Bill Middlebrook's comment because he had some Eagles offseason stuff on his mind. Bill Middlebrook roll out with Wilson in our line, throwing to Boyd, Smith, Metcalf, and Quez, Gainwell, Scott, Howard, Slay, our drafted quarterback. Bill, you got a lot, bro. You got Tyler Boyd and DK Metcalf on the Eagles as well. I mean, what are we playing? Xbox here? I mean, I would love it.
How are they going to get all those guys?
Well, Tyler Boyd's contract is up.
Okay,
So
so you could get him, but why would Seattle trade both those guys?
I don't know. So I think Bill is throwing out scenarios with his Eagles glasses on and not being realistic, which is fine. We like to have fun here on the Sports Hounds, but this is where I get myself in trouble and get labeled a negative Nancy and a Negadelphia fan and miserable and the whole thing, because I have to take optimistic Eagles glasses perspectives like Bill Middlebrooks and swat them down, because I tell the truth here on the Sports Hounds. As do you, Brad.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I could see the Eagles trying to bring it. Listen, would I be shocked if the Eagles tried to bring in Devontae Adams? No.
Well, the Devontae we're referring to as Smith.
I'm sorry, Adams.
Maybe.
I can definitely.
What's the freaking point in paying a receiver big time money when I got a quarterback who's not a franchise quarterback? So.
Well, your goofy general manager, the way he's been talking about that kid from Liberty, he may end up drafting him with one of those picks.
I don't know what's going to happen, but
I'll tell you what. I'll be honest with you. From what I've read from a lot of the scouts, the NFL scouts, they're saying that there's really not a franchise quarterback in this draft. So, being that I am limited in that knowledge, I'll have to go with what they say.
And I kind of agree with that. But I have 3 first-round picks if I'm Howie Roseman and 0 franchise quarterbacks. So I'm doing my due diligence times a million on all these quarterbacks in the draft.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. You have to do that. And I will say this: that the kid from Liberty, I don't remember his name. I did watch a little bit of the Super Bowl. Huh?
Malik Willis.
Okay, Malik Willis. Thank you. That's the guy. I did see him play a little bit in the Senior Bowl because I did watch a little bit of it, and he can run, and he does have a pretty strong arm. I don't know how accurate he is, and the fact that he played at Liberty is that to me that's a big red flag right there.
Yeah, so he transferred in from Liberty from Auburn, so he's an Auburn recruit.
But he didn't play well.
He
I can understand. Listen,
he was never going to play at Auburn because of Bo Nix.
Here are 2 players that I'm going to refer to in his favor. Okay, Phil Simms, Morehead State.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Phil Simms ended up being one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the New York Giants. Got them to 1 Super Bowl and I think he was 12-2 when he got injured, when they won the 2nd Super Bowl with Hostetler. So you got him, and then Joe Flacco ended up transferring to Delaware.
Yeah, I think he was at Pitt.
Yeah, he went from Pitt to Delaware. Yeah, he was at Pitt, and then he transferred to Delaware because he just wanted to play, and he was pretty damn good quarterback too.
And,
so
Romo went to what? Eastern Illinois, undrafted guy. Kurt Warner, Northern Iowa. So they're out there. I'm not saying Malik Willis is going to be as good as any of these guys we just mentioned.
No, I mean I'm trying to be positive, because I know when it comes to Philadelphia sports, I sometimes don't tend to be very positive. But
you're extra, right? You have 3 first-round picks, so you're only supposed to have 1. So you have 2 extra picks. So if I'm staring Kenny Pickett or Carson Strong or Willis or whatever quarterback that Howie Roseman and his scouts identify as a potential franchise quarterback that has a skill set equivalent to a franchise quarterback that Nick Sirianni and my coaching staff can develop into a franchise quarterback.
Howie Roseman, from what I've heard, has been quoted as saying, or not, he didn't say that. Who am I saying? Who was it that said this? John Clark, I think.
Okay.
Not that he's Mr. Reputable. I can't stand the guy, but I think he's the one that said he's Jalen Hurts with an arm. So,
Cool. I mean, you know how I feel about Jalen Hurts. So when you have 3 first-round picks and a bunch of cap space, the Eagles' number 1 objective is to upgrade the quarterback position, in my opinion.
Well, if they can't, there's no point in forcing a pick.
It's not hard to do, though.
No, I know that. I understand that.
Jalen Hurts is so far away from being a franchise quarterback. It's ridiculous.
Honestly, though, Rob, if I were the Eagles, okay, I would draft 3 defensive players and try to make that a championship level defense. Okay, a nice young championship level defense, and then the following season, go out and get the quarterback, and then you're done.
Okay, but
Just saying, you could.
I understand that, but look, I have Deshaun Watson. That's definitely going to get traded at some point.
If you can get Deshaun Watson, all bets are off.
I have Aaron Rodgers, who's unhappy in Green Bay. I have Russell Wilson, who's potentially unhappy in Seattle.
That's if you could get him. All I'm saying is if you're in a situation where you have to you have to draft one of these guys, that's taking a step back because then you're going to have a quarterback. You're not going to win a championship with a rookie quarterback. I mean that never happens. I mean, if you could strike,
it's fine. That's fine.
If you could strike gold, then you have a quarterback who's a franchise quarterback in his second year.
That's fine. Am I winning? Am I winning a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts as my starting quarterback next year?
No, definitely not.
Okay, that's the statement the Eagles fans need to focus on.
Yeah.
Am I winning a championship with Jalen Hurts as my starting quarterback?
Let me ask you about some of the backups that are in the league right now that you think might be better than Jalen Hurts they could start. The first guy I'm going to start with is the guy in the Ravens. I thought he was pretty darn good.
Tyler Huntley?
Yep.
The kid from Utah?
How are you
going to get him?
Well, they could trade for him.
Why would Baltimore give him up, though? Lamar's always hurt. Lamar's undersized. Lamar's a running quarterback. Lamar doesn't protect his body.
Okay.
And you need someone there.
But Baltimore definitely needs to fix their secondary because their secondary last season was a mess.
And Bill Middlebrook, he wants to say Tyler Boyd's crying about attempts with Taylor, Higgins, and Chase. They don't need him, but definitely need Dillard. I think it's win now with Brady gone, Rodgers maybe to the AFC. If we wait 2 to 3 years, we'll need a lot. I mean, look, I hear you, but with Brady and Rodgers out of the NFC, that puts even more pressure on Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles to address the quarterback situation. I want to get Russ in here. I'm willing to give up picks 15 and 16 to do so because I don't think that this roster is as bare as Eagles fans make it out to be.
But if you do that, then now if you're Seattle, what are you going to get back? You're going to get back two picks. I know that, but then who's going to be their quarterback?
Give them Hurts.
DK Metcalf on their team. And
you can demand Hurts in the trade. We have Andre Dillard and Miles Sanders, who would both be upgrades at their respective positions for the Seattle Seahawks. So there's ways you can get it done. Right?
Yes. Listen, I don't.
Russ is going to force it. If that trade happens, it means Russ is going to force his way out, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So if Russ is forcing his way out, Seattle's going to have to take what they can get.
That's very true.
So that's your only hope there to land Russell Wilson. No one's going to trade Russell Wilson. Why would Seattle trade Russell Wilson, willingly trade Russell Wilson? If you have a franchise quarterback in this league, you hold on to him until they're ready to step away.
You would think so, right?
Seattle's rebuilding complete teardown mode. I don't think any team in the NFL should ever be in complete teardown mode. I really don't. Things can change quick in a hard cap, especially when you have a quarterback like Rice. It's not you trade Sanders and that years and this year and 15 or your 2023 first and second for Wilson and Metcalf. I mean, okay, that's great to talk about here on Sports Talk Radio, but is that feasible in real life?
They're not going to do that.
My answer is no.
Trade your whole. First of all, you'd have to trade your whole draft to be able to do that. To even think about for them to think about doing something like that.
Look, Seattle's offensive line does stink.
Yeah, but but you expect you want to get Metcalf too. That's not realistic. If I were you guys, I'd be thrilled to try to get my hands just try to somehow get my hands on Wilson. I mean, you're not going to get Metcalf too. Why would they do that?
So, we're talking about defense and offensive line help and another receiver, but to me, that's all moot when you have 3 first-round picks and cap space and 0 franchise quarterbacks. This is the year. The time is now to get yourself a quarterback. Maybe it doesn't work out, but you got to try your hardest to get a franchise quarterback.
What about Watson, though?
I mean, I would give up all 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson if
I like not at jail. Honestly, I like Watson better than I like Wilson at this point in their career.
Big time, because he's younger.
Yeah, he's younger, and he's I know he's had some injuries, but he's a heck of a quarterback. I mean, I think he'd be a better fit. I mean, he's still young.
But the Eagles need a quarterback. They need a quarterback.
Well, they need to at least upgrade.
And you know what? Matt Lombardo, who used to be a journalist here in Philly, he now covers your Giants. He said that Jimmy Garoppolo can be had from the Niners for a 2nd or 3rd round pick and a player.
I think that's a lot. 2nd or 3rd round pick, yes. A player too, I don't know about that.
I'm just telling you what's been reported.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, San Francisco can ask for whoever they want.
Well, I told everyone that the Niners weren't going to get. I told everyone that the Niners weren't going to get a 1st-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo, and everyone said that it's a quarterback league and the market, they're going to get a 1st-round pick. And I think you're nuts. They're boxed in because of picking Lance.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna get a 1st-round pick because they really kind of almost have to get rid of Garoppolo now. I mean, I wouldn't give up a 1st-round pick for Garoppolo. I mean, I think Garoppolo is a winner and he's a good quarterback. I think he's a real good quarterback on a good team. I don't think on a bad team I think he'll be terrible on a bad team.
And then you have the plot thickening in the quarterback market even more with Aaron Rodgers buying property in Nashville. If he goes to the Titans, they're not going to bring back Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's an upgrade over Jalen Hurts.
But is he good enough? Is he enough of an upgrade to make a move on him?
I don't understand.
He's an upgrade, but do you understand what I'm saying about that? Is he good? Is it worth it to go from a C+ to a B?
But I don't think Jalen Hurts is a C+. I agree with you that Ryan Tannehill's a B. Well, I think Jalen Hurts is more of a C- to a D player.
I'm trying to give Hurts the benefit of the doubt.
Look, and I'm not, and here's why. Every time I think about, maybe he's not that bad, and maybe we can string this thing along more. I just remember that video of Tampa Bay and their coaches and their players
laughing at him.
Ryan Tannehill gave the Cincinnati Bengals the game with 3 turnovers, one at a super inopportune time in the last 2 minutes of the game. I didn't see any videos of the Cincinnati Bengals laughing at Ryan Tannehill.
No,
because there's a respect there.
I saw them taking deep breaths and saying, "Oh, thank God,"
because they knew that they needed to buckle down because Ryan Tannehill does have the skill set to make a couple plays here and send our asses home. The Bucs, every time Jalen Hurts took the field, laughed at him. This guy ain't beating us.
Yeah, he had a very gloomy kind of game. He did what basically I was trying to say to the Eagle fans all year about him was that against a good defense, he's not very effective. I mean, he wasn't effective against the Giants in game 1. What did he have, 10 points? They scored 10 points that game.
It was a joke.
Yeah, he wasn't very good. I know he missed. There were guys open all day and he didn't see them.
But the league, my point being, is the league respects guys like Jimmy G and Garoppolo and Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
you can't.
All I'm saying, Rob, is it? Do you think Tannehill's good enough? If you're gonna trade for a new quarterback, is that enough of an upgrade?
Well, I'm not giving a 1st-round pick for Ryan Tannehill.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Don 19. So does Ryan Tannehill go to Green Bay? We talked about it a little bit earlier. We think Aaron Rodgers is either going to retire or he'll be the quarterback in Green Bay. But, they spent a first-round pick on Jordan Love.
Yeah,
right?
but that doesn't mean that they're going to use Jordan Love until Aaron Rodgers is gone.
No, a conservative Midwest team like the Green Bay Packers are not going to – they're going to give Jordan Love a chance, especially when they picked him in the first round.
Yeah, at some point, but they didn't – listen, Aaron Rodgers sat behind for a long time with Favre there.
I think they learned their lesson with that, and I don't think they're going to play that game again.
But it worked.
They might. Maybe. And Jordan Love didn't look great at all in the mop-up.
It wouldn't hurt Jordan Love to watch a little bit more. So if Aaron Rodgers wants to play, he's not going any.
I think Aaron Rodgers is not assisting in the nurturing of Jordan Love at all.
No, he's
a jerk.
He never will either.
And that's fine. That's to each their own. But yeah, Bill, these trades all look great and sound great, and all of a sudden you got the Eagles in the Super Bowl next year on February 7th, but
that's asking a lot, though.
I don't think it's realistic because DK Metcalf has 2 years left on a rookie deal.
Why would Seattle get rid of him?
The guys don't get moved like that. The only reason Russell Wilson could potentially be on the market is because he wants to be in the East. Don 19, I can't wait to see Trey Lance play. I guess you're a Trey Lance guy. I don't know about it. The Philadelphia Eagles hitched their wagon to a North Dakota State quarterback, and it ended poorly. Looked good, but ended poorly. Thank God Howie the Great got us out of that contract, and he's Indianapolis' problem now. Bill Middle. So does Ryan Tannehill
I hear Indy's trying to move him.
What's that?
I hear Indy's trying to move him, and I've heard
Chris Ballard.
I've heard more rumors about Garoppolo going to the Colts.
Well, Chris Ballard, their GM's pissed because he thought he was going to be in Super Bowl contention. He had built a great roster. He was a quarterback away because Andrew Luck retired, and he thought he ripped the Eagles off for Carson Wentz. He thought he was going to get Carson Wentz back with Frank Reich, and it was going to be 2017 all over again, and the Colts were going to be a really good team. They didn't even make the playoffs. And Chris Ballard's pissed because Howie Roseman bested him. Howie Roseman stuck him with a turd in Carson Wentz. Carson can make all the throws. He has great physical tools. I don't think that can be argued. But the 6 inches between the ears is not right when it comes to Carson Wentz.
Yeah, there's something inherently wrong with his game. It just seems like every time he does something good, he seems to do something stupid.
It's just inopportune with him.
Bill
Middlebrook, you want to play another year with Jalen Hurts, draft another quarterback that takes 2 to 3 years to develop, and now your aging defensive line is gone. No Slay, definitely no Kelsey. Waiting isn't the answer. Teams to good need quarterbacks. Yeah, I want to get Russell Wilson right now. I just think you're in fantasy land, Bill, with the other stuff, with the Metcalf and Tyler Boyd and getting all these guys, and I'm not on board with that. I hope, because I can turn on my Xbox too and make a bomb squad, but that doesn't mean it's realistic. I don't think it's realistic. I think Tyler Boyd's going to stay in Cincinnati. He's a trusted slot receiver of a legitimate franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. The Bengals are going to be able to afford to keep all of Joe Burrow's toys because Joe Burrow is on a rookie contract. So in today's NFL, skimping at the receiver position when you have a franchise quarterback is not the way to go. I have a hard time believing that Tyler Boyd will play anywhere besides Cincinnati. And as far as Tyler Boyd crying because Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins get looks over him, winning cures a lot. And if they win the Super Bowl in 6 days, I don't think Tyler Boyd's going to give a flying you-know-what about how many targets he gets if he gets a big, shiny ring at the beginning of next season. Bob Brinkman, I think Jimmy G has 1 year left at $26 million, not worth giving anything up. Yeah, Bob, but he's a dead cap hit of $1.4 million. So, yeah, and I'm not sure how that works, but whatever it is, he can get his salary is incentive based, it seems, for next year, based on what I've read. Could I be totally misinterpreting his contract and be totally wrong? Absolutely. But from what I understand, Jimmy Garoppolo has a $1.4 million cap hit for next year, making him extremely easy to move for the San Francisco 49ers. And Bill, to get piggyback on that comment, I have absolutely zero interest in watching another season of Jalen Hurts attempt to play quarterback. I don't know what you want to call what Jalen Hurts did at the quarterback position last year, but for the most part, it wasn't franchise quarterback level play. And I don't think
bottom line is it wasn't good enough.
No.
And
a lot of
things, you have to I think that's what you're looking at. Just not good enough.
If you want to be realistic and tell the truth, a lot of things fell the Eagles' way last year. Between the Saints not having a quarterback when they played them, between the East and the Washington football team, now the Washington Commanders. We don't have to say football team anymore. We actually have a mascot that represents the football team in Washington. It's the Commanders. Like it or love it. I kind of like it, actually. But they're the Commanders now. The Commanders, they fell off a cliff. They don't have a quarterback. The Giants stunk. You played a bunch of tomato cans down the stretch, and the Eagles did what they had to do. They won the football games. But, you benefited from a last-place schedule with the Jets and the Lions. You're going to play a harder schedule next year. So, a lot of things, I guarantee it. I'll say it right here on February 7th. Right now, that if Jalen Hurts is the Eagles' starting quarterback in week 1 next year, they will not make the playoffs. Will not make the playoffs. Statistics show that half the teams that made the playoffs this year won't make it next year. There's 50% turnover in the NFL playoffs. There's a lot of parity because it's a hard cap league. If Jalen Hurts is the Eagles' starting quarterback last year, the Eagles will fall into that trap. I can almost guarantee it. Unless they get 3 first-round picks that just are Justin Jefferson on steroids, Philadelphia Eagles will miss the playoffs. They will fall into the trap.
Let's wait till the dust clears on the draft and on free agency before we.
It doesn't matter.
Make any comments like that.
You can't win in this league with a quarterback who can't throw the ball.
This is true.
Period. Boyd is easy to get. He's going to want out. Bill, why do you just assume these guys are going to want out? Boyd is going to want out. They have Taylor, Higgins. They have Taylor, Higgins, and Chase, etc. I don't know who Taylor is. And give whatever Seattle wants for Wilson. And I'm not a Boyd guy. Go get Williams, Godwin, whoever. But Hurts needs to go. There's a lot going on there. You have names that I don't even know who you mean. Tyler Boyd not leaving Cincinnati. They're going to keep that core together for as long as possible with Joe Burrow.
Right. They're not going to
add offensive line help.
They're not going to change that until their contracts run out. All those guys are young.
The Bengals are set up to win, Brad, for a while now.
Yeah.
Because the formula to build a winner in the NFL is not the same formula that was used 10 years ago or 20 years ago or even 5 years ago. You need to have a top-notch offense, and you need to have a defense that's just good enough. Right?
Well, yeah, you're listen, it's more important to have a great offense than it is to have a great defense, but you need a very good defense, though.
Let me put it to you this way. In my opinion, if you have the first-ranked offense and the 15th ranked defense, you're more likely to win a championship than if you have the top ranked defense and a 15th ranked offense.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Because if you have the 15th ranked offense, that means you don't have a franchise quarterback, and
that means you don't
struggle to win big games.
That means you don't score a lot, and you're winning a lot of close games.
So, I mean, all these picks and fourth in the league with Cap. Now, that's the definition of win. This is the definition of win now. I agree with you. I'm always in win now mode. After I watched that stupid process with the Sixers for the past 6 years, I'm always in win now mode. I want to win. Win. Give me this guy, give me that guy. I'll figure 5 years out 5 years from now. Give me now.
Now,
Always.
Bob says, let's move up in the draft and get a quarterback. We have the picks to deal.
Who do you like? Who's Bob like?
I don't know.
I don't like trading up for any of these quarterbacks. I'll tell you. I mean, I said it before. If Kenny Pickett's is there for me to take at pick 15, and I have the 16th pick and the 19th pick, sure, give me Kenny Pickett.
He might be there in the second round.
No, you know how it works with quarterbacks, Brad.
Yeah, but if there aren't really any franchise quarterbacks,
why it only takes one? And there's way too many teams that don't have quarterbacks.
That's true.
Like Kenny Pickett would start on Denver day one. Kenny Pickett would start in Carolina day one. Carolina might start in Atlanta day one.
He's not going to start in Atlanta over Ryan.
I don't know. Ryan is. I mean, I think they're boxed in financially to Ryan for at least this year. So he would probably have to sit in Atlanta. You're right, but Washington, Kenny Pickett would start right away.
What about Heineke?
It's like Jalen Hurts. It's like Jalen Hurts, Washington Commander style, you know?
Yeah, but he was hurt.
He's not any good.
Heineke was actually pretty good until the Redskins, the Commanders were actually pretty good last year until Heineke got hurt. Once he got hurt, they were dreadful after that.
You're not winning anything with Tyler Heineke. You're not.
They could conceivably, with 7 teams, they could make the playoffs.
Okay, great. Cool. Because the Eagles did that this year with quarterback comparable to Tyler Heineke.
Well, I've been telling you that it means nothing, but they could make the playoffs with that.
But, like, Kenny Pickett can move and throw the ball. Down 19, Washington, Pittsburgh, Carolina, they all need quarterbacks. Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's another one.
There's a fit, Pickett in Pittsburgh.
Well, we said that. We've already said that.
They both start with P. You know, maybe you start Mason Rudolph a couple of weeks until Pickett's ready and can get his feet wet. Ease him into it. So, you know.
Pittsburgh has enough. See, the one thing with Pittsburgh is they do have enough players on their team. They're already a pretty good team.
So I'm not trading. If I'm trading draft picks, I'm trading for a known commodity like Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, pending Deshaun Watson's legal issues.
Well,
I'm not trading up. I'm not trading up for Kenny Pickett.
Rob, you should have an answer by the middle of March on Deshaun Watson.
Is that right?
Even if he's suspended for a few games, I don't think he's gonna be. I think he'll be suspended. How many games was Zeke suspended for?
Zeke got 6.
So he'll probably get the same thing.
Zeke got 6 with no charges filed against him.
Yeah, but if all these charges are dropped,
then he gets 6.
Right.
At
he'll
least
probably get 6. So, and that would be worth it.
On 19, if Denver gets a quarterback, how dangerous can they be? Extremely dangerous. I think that if there weren't so many great young franchise quarterbacks in the AFC, I think that would be a logical spot for Aaron Rodgers. But I think Aaron Rodgers is too much of a wimp to attack a tough conference like that at this stage of his career. He's going to go where he's comfortable and familiar in Green Bay, or he's just going to take his ball and go home.
He's going to take the LeBron route. You know, LeBron never went into the NBA West for a long time. He avoided the West, stayed in the East. where it would be easier for him to get to the finals. I think you're going to see the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. No point in him. I just don't see him leaving Green Bay. I don't think the only one that I think is going to get traded is Watson. I think he's gone for sure. But the other guys, I think they're all going to stay where they are.
You might be right,
except for Garoppolo. I think Garoppolo is pretty much done in San Francisco.
Bill Middlebrook, he doesn't want Kenny Pickett. He thinks he's going to be there at 15, but he doesn't want him. So if you whiff on your Russell Wilson fantasy and you whiff on Deshaun Watson and Rodgers doesn't come here and Garoppolo doesn't come here and Tannehill doesn't come here and Derek Carr stays in Vegas and you get shut out, you have 3 first-round picks.
You know what? Derek Carr would be a nice pickup for you guys.
But he just got McDaniel. I mean, McDaniel probably told him, like, yeah, if you trade Derek Carr, like, I'm not being your coach.
Yeah, they're not going to trade him. There's no way.
I mean, Rodgers would be in Denver and Cleveland. I'm not buying Aaron Rodgers going to the AFC. I don't think he's up for that challenge at 38. Just my opinion. And not liking Kenny Pickett at 15, but okay. Insert and take Pickett out.
Isn't Marcus Mariota a free agent now?
Good question. I don't know.
He's been in the league for 5 years now. I mean, I think he is.
You might be right, but he's off that because you know he signed with the Raiders. Remember, he didn't get traded to the Raiders.
No, he signed with the Raiders, but how many years?
Good, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
How many? I thought he was a free agent this year.
He might be.
That's what I'm thinking.
Bill, getting back to Bill Middlebrook, like, okay. You don't like Pickett.
He wouldn't be a bad player for the Eagles, though. He's definitely an upgrade.
Maybe. I wouldn't.
He's got a better arm than Hurts, that's for sure.
Everybody has a better. Like, I don't know, but, like, you already have Minshew on the books next year for $850,000.
Yeah, but Minshew stinks. Let's be honest. You're not winning anything with him either. He's not the answer.
I think there's at least a chance that he's the best quarterback on the Eagles roster. I'm so out on Hurts. It's just I can't do it again next year with Hurts. I can't. So whether
the thing with Minshew, if you think Minshew is the answer, I don't see.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Brad, like I need to watch a guy who can like complete a slant. You understand?
Yeah.
I need to get to there. So even if I whiff on Wilson and Watson and all these proven franchise guys, I can't watch as a fan Jalen Hurts in week 1 next year. I can't. So Bill Middlebrook, he doesn't like Pickett. Bill, is there a quarterback that you do like in this rookie draft class? Sam Howell? I don't like Sam Howell. Maybe you do. I don't know. Malik Willis? I don't know. I don't like the Liberty thing. I don't like that he couldn't beat out Joe Nix and took his ball and went to Liberty. At least Jalen Hurts took his ball and went to Oklahoma, a legitimate program. But Liberty is not a legitimate football program. Sorry, Greg Malakovic. I know you went there. Don't mean any disrespect, but I don't know how I feel about building a team, my franchise, around a quarterback from Liberty. Because I already tried that with Carson from North Dakota State, and we fell flat on our face ultimately.
Okay, Marcus Mariota is a free agent.
Something interesting to look at. But, like, he's going to be a hot commodity. I got news for you. Whether it's competition for Mason Rudolph in Pittsburgh, I think that Tampa Bay makes a lot of sense. I think that potentially San Francisco could make a lot of sense.
Here's a guy who's a tremendous athlete.
Giants
I don't know. I haven't watched him enough to figure out what exactly the problem was with him with Tennessee. Was it injury? I don't know. What exactly was it about him that was such a big problem? Not accurate? Did they not have enough receivers for him?
He lost his job to Tannehill in Tennessee. Right. Tannehill took over and started winning. So he lost his job. Could he get another job somewhere and succeed? Sure.
Because it's hard when a guy's a backup. It's hard to know if they can come in. I mean, because it's also not easy to come into Philadelphia and be a starting quarterback either. You got very demanding fans, and it's tough. It's not easy. Not an easy place to play. You have to be a real man and suck it up to be able to play in Philadelphia.
Let's get our last topic. We have a few minutes left here. Last topic of the night, brought to you by FanUp. FanUp's the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D. 5,000 bonus points. That's a $50 value. FanUp, only in the Apple App Store. I enjoy playing. They do crossover contests where you pick some NBA guys and NFL guys. They got a great contest going for the Super Bowl with great prizes. It's a lot of fun. You're not restricted like on some of the other sites with a salary cap. You can pick whoever you want. And you get a captain that's worth 1.5 times his point total. You get a multiplier. So that's how you set your lineup apart from your buddies.
Sounds fun.
But I want to get into this Brian Flores stuff. I wanted because I need your it's pretty evident to me that the NFL has a problem at the coaching level hiring minorities, because you have
I think you're right.
You have 2 of 32 coaches now with Lovie Smith getting hired that are African American, and 75% of the league is black.
Something along those lines, yeah.
So that's a discrepancy.
That's a problem.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't know why the Eric Bieniemys and Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich's of the world can't get jobs. I thought Byron Leftwich had the Jaguars job.
He walked away from it, though, from what I heard.
Did he?
Yeah.
So Doug was their second choice.
I thought that I heard. Listen, what I read, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I got bad news. I read online about Leftwich. Leftwich, he didn't get offered the job, but after he interviewed, they were interested, and he just walked away. I don't know what transpired. Maybe he didn't like something about going there. I don't know. I think Leftwich would be a good coach, though.
Yeah,
Bieniemy, I don't understand what the deal is with Bieniemy unless Bieniemy is waiting for the Kansas City job to open up. I don't know. Maybe he interviews poorly. I don't know what his issue is, other than being black.
What's the answer though, Brad? What's the solution to this minority head coach?
The problem is, Rob, you can't force an NFL owner. You can't force him to pick a coach. You can't tell him who he's going to pick and who he's not going to pick. That's a part of it. I don't know what the answer is, but you know what? I think that there's something's got to be done, though. It's not right. I mean, that would be like in hockey where it's almost a complete white sport. That'd be like there are 32 teams, and I'm equating it to what would you think if you were if you're white and you're a big hockey fan, if you're white and you're a big hockey fan, and 30 of the 32 coaches are black. What would you think about that? You'd be like, what the? So I can understand the point. I really can, because it makes no sense to me. I mean, the NBA has black coaches,
right?
But
can you get if the Saints hired Bieniemy instead of just promoting Dennis Allen, can you give the Saints a 3rd round pick? Is that the answer?
Oh boy, that's such a bad.
Because then you're going to have unqualified African Americans get jobs just so you can get a 3rd round pick, and I don't think that's right either.
That's a bad look, though.
But I'm also not black, as you can see. I'm a white boy from the suburbs. I'm not going to know what it's black. I'm never going to know what it's like to be black. So maybe that's the answer. Kind of an affirmative action, draft pick, compensation program to get
What about adding money to their salary cap?
That's interesting.
That's
very interesting.
I mean,
I like that more than
I like that better than giving them draft choices because I think that the draft choice thing is bullshit. Or give them give them an exemption on dead cap space, something like that.
Another interesting one.
Yeah, you could do something. I think the dead cap space might be even better.
Like you get if you have like
if
128.
If you're still like the Carson Wentz situation, if the Eagles were stuck with $30 million this year, you could write off 50% of whatever your dead cap money is.
I like that a lot, actually. I don't like the draft pick thing.
No, but what that would do is it'd be good for the players because then there'd be more money.
They get more money.
Players, yeah. So I think that would be really good. And again, it would give these guys an incentive to try to find a good because I think what's happening right now is I don't think that they have enough of an incentive to find one. I think they just go through the motions of hiring what they're going to hire who they want instead of look at it this way. If the Eagles last year were in a position where they could have gotten rid of half their dead cap hit. Okay, do you think they would have looked a little harder?
Cap nerd Howie Roseman would have hired a brother in 5 seconds.
Exactly. So that's the point. Yeah. As far as the Giants,
and then a white guy like Brian Dabble, who didn't do anything wrong. Like it's not his fault.
Why is he getting? I mean, the Giants hired a guy that developed Josh Allen. Why is that such a terrible thing?
Yeah, but now Dennis Allen and Mike McDaniel and all these white guys that got hired this cycle are they didn't do anything wrong and they're going to get criticized because they're not African American.
Which is also not fair either. But as far as the Giants are concerned, Jerry Reese was black and he was a general manager there for 10 years. And I get it. I get it all, but you know what? The Giants are not one of those teams that doesn't that have that issue. And I mean, even Tiki Barber, who was a Giant, who played for the Giants and for a long time, and he has a big mouth and he loves to start trouble.
Yeah,
he said the Maras aren't like that, so I don't know.
All right, we got to get out of here. Flight Zone's coming up next. Thank you to everyone who liked, subscribed, and shared our show. Thank you to everyone who commented on the show. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everyone. We'll be back here next Monday, same time, same place, talking Super Bowl, talking NBA trade deadline, talking NFL offseason, and whatever else may come up. Until then, peace out, everybody.